Tiger Bay. Welcome to Giant Dreams Under Construction, the show that focuses on positive people in our community working towards building their dreams. Today we have Frank Puglia, who is a city councillor and an avid volunteer across the city, here today to talk about what he does, why he does what he does, and how he got into it. So thank you, Frank, for coming today.
Oh, thank you. My pleasure.
Now, so you are a current city councillor,
Yes.
and when did you start that term? When was the election where you became the councillor here?
Well, this term was in 2014,
Okay.
but the first time I ran for council was 1994. I
And-
got in the first time. That was 23 years ago. So
That's awesome.
it's been a long time.
How have things changed with council over that time? Because there's, you have quite the span to refer to. What have you noticed as good changes or bad changes, and what would you like to see?
Well, the structure and composition of council has not changed. We still have the mixed system of 7 councillors in a ward system and 5 at large.
Okay.
That has not changed. Maybe something we should consider reassessing, because I'm hearing that more and more. But more than that, what has changed is Thunder Bay has changed in many ways over that time, not so much council. And council, at the end of the day, is a reflection of the community.
Or it should be, right?
Should be.
Yes.
So our system has somewhat worked because we have a good mix, but the needs and the realities and the wants in many ways and the expectations of our community members and society in general has changed.
Well, along with technology and everything
Yes.
else, like now you guys live stream the
Exactly.
city council meetings, even as far as like our Christmas parades and stuff like that, like everything is just more accessible. Where, like, do you find that with technology now you guys are constantly bombarded, whereas before it was just be if you're out at an event?
Absolutely. Social media is a great leveler, is a great equalizer, but with it brings in a host of other issues, because then you're always available 24/7. However, in the past, I remember having to change my voicemail to a deluxe so it could handle 25 messages. I used to come home and find 25 messages I had to respond to on the phone. And by 9, 10 o'clock, I was done returning some calls. I mean, depending on the issues, depending on what was happening, we didn't have the social media that we have today. So today I have a smartphone and I get emails, I get text, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. So we get it. But what it does, it allows me to respond quicker.
Okay.
But the volume of responses and inquiries has multiplied.
It has to be hard. So to go from 25 voicemail, which when you say that, it drives me insane when I check my phone and my voicemail is full. But it usually takes a few days to a week to get to that point.
Now, it wasn't always
But-
25. Depending if there was a compelling issue, people would phone in and leave a message. So, but right now we get, like, there's an issue coming to council on Monday night about a restaurant and changing the bylaw to allow for them to expand, and the parking so is somewhat controversial because their neighborhood has got some concerns, and we got like 100 emails in the last 2 days about that issue.
Just
So,
over the parking.
about council, there are people who are expressing their concerns and the views of support or against any particular motion. So depending on what level of controversy we're dealing with, we may be faced with a few emails or phone calls, not as many phone calls now.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that has changed. So in many ways it's good because it forces the issue of accountability to the forefront. We are accessible. I may not respond. I try to respond to every email that comes to me, but it's a lot of work. But because it's spread out during the day, we don't feel it as much.
Is being a councillor or a city, like an alderman or...
I'm a councillor at large.
Okay.
Yeah.
So first of all, what's the differences, in case some of our viewers
Yeah.
don't know, or just to clarify for myself even, of the different roles? Because I understand, okay, you have Councillor Shelby, who's in Northwood, so
Northwood,
she
yeah,
manages
yeah.
Northwood. But when you have aldermen and councillors at large, can you just explain what
We
that
all have the
means then?
same responsibility. However, the ward council, because we all vote, we all have one vote. My vote is the same as everybody else's vote, including the mayor.
Okay.
So the ward councillor has a more focused responsibility of that particular area. But they still vote on every single issue that comes in front of council.
So even like Current River stuff?
Yeah,
okay.
everything. So the difference is if there is an issue in Northwood or McKellar, people usually phone that councillor. Then if that councillor is not available, they can phone the councillor at large.
And then what's the difference between the councillor at large, and an alderman?
I'm responsible for the whole city, but I'm still responsible for Northwood and other areas.
Yeah.
But usually people, the people who voted you in, say for Northwood or McIntyre, there's a more of direct accountability for that ward representation. I used to be the councillor in McIntyre. That's how I came in on council. Now I'm a councillor at large. So basically the difference is one of focus.
Okay.
My focus and my attention and my responsibility was in McIntyre. But I also voted on all issues across the city. So at the end of the day, sometimes people feel that, we're focused too much on that area. And I say, well, that's fine, because what's good for the hand is good for the body. What's good for your foot, what's good for McKellar or McIntyre or Northwood is good for the whole city. We need to take care of all our neighborhoods.
That is a good analogy or way to put it, because, just because one topic is coming up as a discussion topic right now in, say, McKellar Ward, let's deal with it there, and then it is probably going to come up in Shunya or all these other places, right? Or do you find that once you deal with the problem here, say in one area, it just makes it easier because, hey, I recognize this over here and this is what we did that worked in this part of town? Well,
the only concern I'm hearing right now is one of direct accountability. Some people feel that because, say, in a particular ward, you can get in with 1,500 votes. So they feel, that's what I'm hearing as a major concern, that people don't feel that the council is accountable to the rest of the voting population because you can get in with 1,500 votes, 1,000 votes, or 2,000 votes. There are 84,000 people eligible to vote. 50% come out, so 45,000 people vote. You can get in with 2,000 votes.
My goodness.
But that's
actually encouraging to somebody who's interested in running, or might have thought it was kind of...
It would be easier to get in and focus your efforts if you're running in a ward system, but there seems to be a disconnect in terms of, their responsibility is still exactly the same as anybody else. They still have that one vote. But that's the one item that I feel in terms of our structure that some people have expressed concern in the past, and they still do.
Okay, so we're going to take a short break right here, and then we're going to get back into this. I want to learn more, and I'm pretty sure that there are going to be some viewers out here who, really, you've explained a lot to me so far already. So
there's more.
I know, and I love talking to you. So we will be right back with Giant Dreams Under Construction after these messages. Thunder Bay, we're back with Giant Dreams Under Construction, and our guest today is Councillor Frank Puglia. So before the break, we were talking about the structure of City Council and the different roles, and you surprised me to know that you only need 1,000 to 2,000 votes in some wards, which is probably encouraging to those out there that are considering running to make a difference. What made you want to pursue this in '94? What made you want to start getting into politics? Was there any major event, or you just decided one day, I want to make a change?
No, I used to be heavily involved in the community and pay attention to certain things. I'm a first generation immigrant. I came from Italy when I was 17. I made this my home, and I love Thunder Bay, and I choose to stay here. I was working for Ontario Hydro in Toronto.
Oh, really?
In 1994, and I had a great job offer. That's when Ontario Hydro gets split up, and I was in head office, and I had a great job offer and an opportunity to buy a condo downtown, Chestnut Park Residences. At that time, the real estate market had crashed, and I could have bought it for $150,000. It's now worth close to $1 million.
Yeah.
But I thought about it long and hard, and for some reason I just could not decide to stay in Toronto. And I wanted to come back to Thunder Bay where the rest of the family was, and I just love the city. So I came back here and I started my own business, Puglia Accounting and Consulting. As a business consultant, that's what I do. And enter politics, because I used to be sitting by the sidelines and paying attention to things and complain about it. And someone said to me one day, why don't you do something about it? Instead of complaining about it, instead of talking about it, run. And I said, yes, I will run.
Was it scary when you?
Well, there was a level of uncertainty, but preparation is key, like, you know, in anything else. It was a bit intimidating because, you know, I came here when I was 17, and even though I went through the school system, sometimes you may come across as being from the outside looking in, and they could be intimidating because you're looking at the counselors who have their agenda and they have studied the subject and they talk and well articulate the points. I'm going, can I do that? But I had formal training. I got a degree in business, and I'm a certified management accountant. And that training gave me the confidence to go, see, I can do that. I work for a multinational corporation, Ontario Hydro in head office. I can be a city councillor. I had many career changes.
And that was part. Consulting are a good asset to have, yeah.
But I think if somebody cares enough about our community, don't be discouraged. You don't need a degree. You don't need any of that. You need to be able to have a passion about our city and articulate those thoughts and your vision for our future in a way that elicits the support of those people who want to support you, who feel that you can be their voice on council.
Yeah.
And that's all you need. You need enough votes to win. And when I say 1,000, 2,000 votes, depends on the ward system and how many people run. If there are 4 or 5 people running and there are a total of 6, 7, 8,000 votes and they split the vote, you can get in with a couple thousand votes.
Was anybody in your family involved in politics before?
No other politicians in my family.
No?
I had no one to look to as a role model.
What about for business?
Business, yeah, there are business people, but mostly, hairdressers. And my sister's a hairdresser. My brother's a hairstylist.
And where are you from in Italy? Because you said that you just came back from seeing your mom who just turned 90. So
90,
happy birthday, Frank's mom, if she ever gets to see this. How do you say that in Italian, actually?
Buon compleanno.
Buon compleanno?
Yes.
Okay, so buon compleanno, if she ever does see this.
Yeah.
But so where are you from in Italy?
Lamezia Terme, Calabria, southern Italy.
Okay.
It's like a hub. It's like an international airports, and we got like almost 1.5 million people traveling because it's a southern hub. From there, you can go just about anywhere in Europe.
Are you close to are you close to big bodies of water?
We're like a 3-4 hour drive south of the Amalfi Coast.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like Southern California.
So was it kind of tropical there? I've always wanted to go to Italy, so I'm sure there's a lot of other people that do too.
It's warm in the summer. For example, 2 years ago, we had, there was an international kite surfing championship that they beat the San Francisco and Abu Dhabi in an international competition. So it's like California. It's like Florida and California combined because you got the beach and within half an hour you can go on the mountains.
This might be a dumb question. Kite surfing, is that where the person is like
in
the kite?
Yeah.
So they're not just holding
you hang into that to the.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd be able to do that.
And you let the wind take you, and you got to manage the surfing part.
So, all of like the postcards or the pictures that we see of Italy, are they good representations of?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so it is as
you got so much history.
Beautiful.
It's a completely different. The visual part is completely different. So even when I came to Thunder Bay and I got off the plane and I saw all the trees, it's like when you get Germans, so Europeans coming here, and it takes like 2-hour flight from Toronto, and they look out of the window, you see bush and lakes and water. It's completely different than Europe. So, but that's our strength in terms of Thunder Bay. In the past, that we were feeling that we were isolated, but now we own the telecommunication company. We have fiber optics being distributed across the city. 50% of our households in Thunder Bay are being connected to fiber optics, and within 4 years it will be 90%. So geographical limitation is not a barrier anymore. I do work with international companies around the world. I can go and visit my mother and go on Skype and participate in board meetings across Canada or in Thunder Bay. I don't have to be away, other than the Municipal Act prevents me from participating in council meetings, but that's fine. But I can participate in every other committee that I belong to from anywhere in the world, like if you're missing that one time.
Well, and you're actually a part of a lot of different things. Like, I know we've hosted the Rotary Christmas Parade together a few times. I see you at all these different events and supporting young professionals, supporting business around Thunder Bay, supporting children's charities. Like, you're everywhere. You donate yourself all over the place, really. When we come back from our break, I want to get more into your volunteer work and just maybe wrap it up by learning what exactly a day is like for Frank Puglia, and hopefully we can inspire some people to take the plunge and be the change they want to see.
I'll pull out my calendar, 6-7 events per day.
Maybe not just politics, but volunteerism.
Yeah, volunteering.
Also.
A lot of it is volunteering.
So we will be right back with Giant Dreams Under Construction after these messages. Thank you. We are back with our third segment of Giant Dreams Under Construction. Sorry, we're here with Councillor Frank Puglia today, and I wanted to talk to you about your volunteer work and what a typical day is like for you, and also to your passion for assisting and helping with the capacity building in for Indigenous nations or First Nations, whatever people want to call it now.
Indigenous community, yes. Yeah.
So what all are you involved with as far as your volunteerism?
Yeah. When we were talking before why Thunder Bay, one thing that I find amazing about our city, besides its giant heart, is the number of volunteers and how they dedicate their time and effort. And this is a perfect timing because it's Volunteer Week. And I think there was a calculation made some time ago how much that time is worth. It's millions and millions and millions that it makes for a much better community than it would otherwise be. Because there are limited resources. There's so much you can get from property tax owners. There's so much from the income tax. What makes us unique, and I believe it gives us the capacity to overcome any challenges that we may be facing today, is the volunteers, is the collaboration. We are a small, big town. Here, you can make a difference.
We do have a lot of
That's why my efforts and my passion for the city, when I volunteer, I get so much energy back from giving to the community because you get it back. You get it back in so many different ways.
Especially to see the kids or, you know, just making people happy, like with simple things like serving meals at the shelter house, or when there's events for the Boys and Girls Club and you just see the kids benefiting and they're happy with it. Also too, with your, like you're involved and you're passionate about helping Indigenous communities around the area, and with your company too. But just Frank Puglia at heart, you give a lot of yourself and your mind.
The time, and again, we're talking about the role of council. The role of council is not just preparing for their Monday night meeting. If that's all you do, you're only doing a small part of it. There is answering the constituents' concerns. So there are people who email us, phone us. I get to be on site meeting with them, understand what their problem that they're facing. There's also meetings and again, reaching out to the community and doing a town hall meeting. I just finished one about using technology, smartphone, to keep youth safe. As you know, we have had many incidents, and by the river, we have an inquest, and I think we need to start moving towards solutions, collaboration, instead of finger pointing. How can we work together to identify, acknowledge what is going on, acknowledge the challenges that we're facing, but also collaborate and move towards positive outcomes. Since then, we have had many organizations reaching out to understand better the technology that we were thinking of that can be used towards a risk mitigation. And actually next week I'm having a town hall meeting on better understand the Thunder Bay's social issues. and community safety. Because we know now that the police and the emergency services have had an increase of 25% in calls in the last year alone.
And
we're in a crisis situation.
We go into a code black quite frequently with the paramedics, actually.
And even though council has already approved an extra ambulance and 7 paramedics, they're already telling us it's not going to be enough.
No.
So how do we get a handle on this? We need a better understanding about the social determinants of health, of being homelessness.
And not just city councilors need that understanding. It takes all of us.
All
like,
of us.
It bothers me when I hear people say, oh, well, council has to do this. It's all on council. Like, well, when is city council going to fix this? It's like Thunder Bay, Fort William, and Port Arthur were built on entrepreneurs and people migrating here and starting their dreams and building their dreams here. And that's how we became what we are.
And to me, as I talking about how do we build, what's the dream, and I think we need to build the fabric of our community. We need to enhance it. We need to prepare it for all this homelessness, addiction, opiates, mental health, poverty. We have the information. I have invited experts to a panel to tell us what's happening, what's going on, get a better understanding of the current situation, what's working, what's not working, and what do we need to do. We need to move towards prevention because the police can only react to events after the fact.
Yeah.
And we need, as people know, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Really?
It's
and
that
just
simple.
like with a cold.
Yeah. So let's move towards prevention and risk mitigation. Otherwise, we're going to be swamped in reactive mode, and Thunder Bay will never be able to fulfill its potential. And it's a huge potential in our community. I see it day in, day out with the people that I interact and the companies and the small, medium-sized enterprises that create 80% of the jobs. You know, and we need to attract specialists. We need to attract doctors, young families. We need to grow our community. Otherwise, we're going to have all these baby boomers retiring, and there'll be way more people retiring and the people working to pay the taxes that provide the services.
Well, and when you say we need to attract, you're not talking about just the city of Thunder Bay or city council and the mayor. You're talking about all of us,
federal,
like all of us as the people, though, right?
And that's why, in terms of growth strategy for Thunder Bay and building our capacity to facilitate young families to move here and rejuvenate, we're talking about a transformational approach to the way we do business. You know, we have done a great job. I think we've done a good job and made substantial progress in reducing the taxation that was going towards 6-7%. And a senior on fixed income cannot handle more increases. So we've been able to stabilize that and provide without cutting services. Anybody can cut taxes.
That's a good point.
If you cut
Thank
services.
you for throwing that in there.
So we have actually added to services and maintained tax increases below 2.5%. But now I think the greatest challenge for Thunder Bay is going to be the social issues, because we will not be able to attract professionals, people, if we keep getting in the national agenda, in the national media in a negative way.
Yeah.
We need to get a hold and manage our own destiny.
Well, you know what? There's a lot of really good people here, a lot of really good things that happen here, a lot of good things that start here. I wish that, and this is why we have shows like this one or others on Shaw Cable.
It's much appreciated, the work that you do.
We try to focus on the positive.
Exactly.
Now, we're running out of time here, and I know that we could talk for another probably 10 hours. So
you have to bring me back.
I will. But so my synopsis of all of this is, Frank Puglia, your dream is to see Thunder Bay.
My dream is to see a better Thunder Bay.
Yeah.
Thunder Bay progress into its full potential, to be the city that we all want to be, that we have it. It's within reach. We need to work together, collaborate, and make that happen.
Well, I appreciate your passion. I appreciate all your hard work. You know, I love you as a friend, and I really appreciate and thank you so much for coming on the show today. I hope this helped some of our viewers understand what City Council's like and maybe what they could do to take steps forward to, you know, help with this dream of Thunder Bay being this great place. It already is. but we can always make things better. So I want to say thank you, Frank, for coming out today.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, Thunder Bay, for taking the time to watch another episode of Giant Dreams Under Construction. My name's Kateri Banning, and we will see you next time.
Thank you, Thunder Bay.